Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are around the world. So, today is pretty exciting. Nothing in particular, but I just really wanted to go over the next update that we're going to see in summer. Now, I know this is something that a lot of content creators are going to say is the best time to play MapleStory and, all that jazz as it happens almost every peak season, like summer and winter. But seriously, this is one of the biggest updates that we're getting to kind of modernize the game in some way and hopefully attract and keep new players in. So I really wanted to just highlight a lot of the stuff that's going on here. Someone did make a Reddit post, so shout out to Bacon. I believe Bacon's one of the Reddit mods as well, so thank you, Bacon, for compiling this. We're going to go over it today because this is just crazy. This is some really good stuff. This basically summarizes everything in the Orange Mushroom blog post from Korea, so I will share this in the description as well if you want to check this out specifically. But there's some really big stuff in here, and there's also pictures, so if you want to see what it looks like, you can definitely check this post out. As we can see, the new character select screen, our character creation screen is totally different. So my guildmates and I have been talking about the quality of life in this update for months since they announced it. Like, we have been so eager looking forward to this for so long. That's how crazy good this is. It is phenomenal, and we are down bad to get these changes ASAP. Now, I do have to give a small disclaimer, as expected, that keep in mind that technically nothing has been official for GMS. There's no web post or anything like that, but we follow these updates very strictly, so whatever we see here is what we usually always get. The only time in recent time that I can think of that we didn't get something identical was the character swap menu. They unfortunately didn't communicate about that pretty early either. We didn't get confirmation on that till much later in the update where they said they were working on it, which is fine. At least we got something, but maybe at the time of it would have been a little bit better, but that's okay. So let's just hop right into it. So it looks like we're going to get a Ride or Die Part 2. This is GMS exclusive based on the 20th anniversary videos. This was teased for GMS. We don't know what's going to come with it. We don't know about the rewards, but we're hoping that the map A nodes will come back, which were really good for drop rate and damage. We're also going to get the 6th job, 3rd and 4th mastery cores, which you can click the link and you can see it here for all those masteries. There's a lot going on with that, so that's good. Now, skill sequencing to macro your burst. So it is a new macro system to basically pressure burst. Now, Bacon did punt a really cool note here that said, punt your class's entire burst order into this macro up to 15 skills, and the macro will activate the skills faster than you can press. Night Lord can take around 7-8 seconds to press all the buttons, but the system can do it for you in 2 seconds. Now, as an Adele, I'm very excited about this. This is phenomenal. Less buttons to push, and you also get a lot of keyboard space. So being able to macro your burst is going to be pretty convenient for almost every single class in the game. There might be a few exceptions where it doesn't really matter. Like if you play an Evan, your full combo, it might not matter. But for most classes, it's going to matter a lot. We're also getting an update to the Black Mage Liberation Quest. There's a full breakdown on here. I don't want to go through this specifically because this in itself will take too long, but TLDR, it's going to be faster to liberate if you're able to solo the bosses by yourself. You're going to get through it a lot faster, and they're just changing how it works based off the amount of points that you get for soloing or duoing the bosses. So your mileage may vary on how long it takes you to liberate now, which is pretty cool. Now, Hyperburn Max, this is an updated version of Hyperburning, so you're going to get 5 additional levels every single time, and there will be a second Hyperburn coupon. So one character is going to be able to Hyperburn with item burning, and then a second character is going to be able to Hyperburn. You just won't be able to get the results again, such as like the item burning and whatnot, but this is great because if you have an established geared up boss meal already, you can use that boss meal basically to shoot them to 260 pretty quickly and get a free origin is what I like to say. So it's pretty cool. Lots and lots of good stuff with this Hyperburn. Now for the crazy quality of life adjustments, we're going to see the Star Banquet, which this is going to be a summer-winter coin cap event, just very standard for what goes on during events. Legion UI update, so we're going to get a system that lets us automatically build the Legion grid for us. You no longer have to use a third-party, I don't know if third-party is the right word for it, but you don't have to use an external website to calculate your Legion grid based on your characters. It's going to be in-game now, so it's going to be built in. So for those new players that are Not wanting to do it, there you go, the game will do it for you. We're finally getting story skip on Arcane River and Grandis pre-quests. You no longer have to sit through. So we have a skip already, but the skip still requires you to go through a cutscene. This is going to skip that entirely. No more cutscene, no more summary. You just, boom, you're done. There's going to be some changes to the boss pre-quests, so these are going to be skipped for things like Root Abyss, Papulatus, Arcarium, Pink Bean, Cygnus, the list goes on. The completion is now shared on your entire account, so you do not have to do them anymore, which is phenomenal. Symbol dailies are also receiving some well-needed changes. Both Arcane and Grandis dailies will start at 500 monsters killed. For every zone you progress past, the amount needed to kill will go from 500, 300 to 100. This means if you're level 265, all Arcane dailies are 100 kills to complete, all Sornium is 300, and Hotel Arcus is 500. The symbol quick pass has been also changed to 1,000, 600, 200 maple points to complete the daily instantly. So this just means that doing dailies on alternate characters is going to be a lot more convenient and a lot easier, which is huge. They've also increased the amount of symbols that Arcane River special content will give. So if you're doing your weeklies, your Dream Defender, Spirit Savior, etc., they'll now give 40 symbols each, up from 15, which is a lot. That is 120 symbols a week to complete all 3 times, which is crazy. Monster Park Extreme is also now a weekly, which I personally like this. Here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. I like this a lot because it's just less tedious. So you don't have to do it daily. It can be completed 2 times total a week on 2 characters, once each. So 2 characters can take advantage of MPE, and you only do it once a week per character. So the EXP is 5 times the normal amount. However, any Sunny Sunday buffs that gave extra MP experience does not work anymore, but there may be a chance that the event 50% buff from check-in rewards may work towards MPE, but we're not 100% sure on that. Epic Dungeon is now both doable on each or 2 different characters, and they do not overlap each other's clears anymore, which is pretty cool. So you can have one character do one and another character do another. TLDR, Epic Dungeon is twice now. So basically, if you're not picking up on this already, the changes that we're getting are for Legion champions, basically. You're going to be able to do your special dailies and weeklies on a second character, so that way you can build up a Legion champion, so you'll probably focus one character at a time, build them up, go on to the next, etc. This is also great if you've been doing Hyperburns and you have a ton of 260 meals. This will give you the opportunity to unlock some Soul Urda and Soul frags on those characters to unlock at least level 1 slots on their their 6-star matrix without taking away from a main character. So if you've been really sweaty about that and min-maxing and only claiming on your main character, well, good for you, because now you're going to be able to do it on a second character and a third and a fourth and a fifth, etc. So this is going to be really awesome. There's also Soul Urda conversion, so players can transfer their Soul Urda to other characters, much like they can with Arcane or Grandis symbols, for significant cost. 10 Soul Urda converts into 3 Soul Urda. I'm pretty sure this is just for Reg World. Do not quote me on this, I could be incorrect, but I think this is for Reg World and not Reboot, so just keep that in mind, okay? Now, Arcane River storyline update. So parts of the River Zone pre-quest storylines have been updated narratively and streamlined to be faster, but if you're skipping them, it doesn't matter. We're also getting an update to the quest UI, so it's going to be a lot easier to see your quests and understand what they're for, which is pretty cool. They've also added it so that way if you're looking at your quest menu, you should be able to see where the monsters and the map names show up, and you should be able to double click them as well for the map UI. So that's going to be a lot more streamlined for newer players, unfamiliar and a little bit confused with questing. It's just going to make things a lot more understandable. The quest helper can also track up to 20 quests instead of 5, which is pretty cool if you're doing Scrapyard weeklies. We're also getting a huge UI revamp to the world map as well. This is going to be more streamlined to look a lot like the quest UI as well. You can also change the order of maps in your favorite list. This is something that I've always wanted. It's a really small quality of life, but it's really nice to just have. And then there's also a button to click that brings the map back to your current location, which honestly, this is just all really nice. It just feels like the game's being more modernized. Clicking on a map now shows more information: monsters, levels, sacred arcane force requirements, if it's an instance map or a town, minimum early level, prerequisite requirement. Again, streamlining the game so that's a little bit more modern. There will also be a button that brings you back 1 level to the higher stage map, kind of like right-clicking does, but it actually works. Teleports will be free for a 5-minute cooldown. Pay Maple points to have the CD be 10 seconds. Not sure how this will work in GMS yet because we have a completely different teleport system than KMS since we still have Teleport Rock. I really hope GMS will modernize the game and get rid of that shitty ass rock because it's super outdated and super stupid. The minimap will also have a return to town button, and the minimap now has filters for different things you want to show and hide. This is great. Once again, I'm going to say this for the 5th time and keep echoing myself. Quality of life that modernizes the game and makes it more appealing to modern audiences. Honestly, fantastic. We'll also get a metal UI update. Not too big, this just changes the inventory system for metals. Guilds can now change their name for 59k Maple points. And Skill Alarm got an update where now skills can show up to the same time in the Skill Alarm window, which is pretty good. 3 skills. And then we got a shortcut hotkey update. So are you tired of changing your hotkeys to your preferred layout every time you make a new character? Now you can have a preset of your layout and apply it to a new character every time. There's also an import hotkey preset function, so you can import preferred hotkeys to characters that have already been created. Let me say that this is phenomenal. Whenever I make a new character, which is rare nowadays because I have everything created, but in the past, I'd have to spend like 15 minutes setting up keyboards, keybinds, layouts, everything, dude. This is amazing. Streamline, modernizing the game. Now, we're already getting the Legion Champion coming up soon, of course, but I don't want to go into this because I've already covered a video based off of Legion Champion. So I'm going to jump a little bit farther ahead, go back down to quality of life. So this is some more huge stuff. So guild cooldowns have been changed from 60 minutes to 5 minutes. That's right, people. 5 minutes for G-skill cooldown. Amazing. There's a small chance that we get this change in June instead, along with other quality of life changes, which is true. We don't know yet. Link skills. Phenomenal. Link skills now are unlimited and applied to the character as its own separate copy. If you have Kana Link or a character A, for example, and go to character B, use Kana Link, both characters now have Kana Link applied permanently until you change it. This is awesome. If you have boss meals and you have 12 characters, you set link skills on character A, go to character B, set up link skills, go to character C, you're done. You're done. The link skills are saved on that character, and every time you log in to use that boss meal, it has link skills already set and saved individually. Perfect for boss meals. So that means every single character in your roster can have its own link skill preset applied, and it will forever stay on that character no matter what link skills you do on other characters until you decide to change it. High Mountain is also receiving a noticeable nerf to make it easier to do certain stages. There is a boss crystal change. I don't know if this is going to affect us in GMS particularly because the number of boss crystals be able to sold will be changed from 180 to 190, which would suck because I have a lot of boss meals. However, all bosses in Grandis were buffed in meso value, while all bosses below Black Mage were nerfed in meso value. Big nerf overall, especially to the C10 boss meal meta. This is something that I hope GMS doesn't receive, because we've been following a boss meal meta for a long time, so if Nexon turned around, slapped us in the face, and said, fuck you and your 12 boss meals, that's gonna really suck. So when it comes to the boss crystal changes from KMS to GMS, sometimes GMS chooses to ignore the change completely or adjust things before they brought over. This is true. We have seen this multiple times in the past, so it's a waiting game to see what will happen. This update brings all the Star 4 changes that you're probably familiar with. Not going to go over these. We've already received an equal note discussing that they're going to share their plans for the new Star 4 system soon. We're just waiting for the announcement. And then, of course, we get the Destiny weapon as well, which is like Liberation Part 2, essentially. We get Oz Ring 6. We'll get some boss changes, but these might be different for GMS as well. We're not entirely sure. These are all just good quality of life. I do like the will changes, so more DPM time, honestly, which is pretty nice. Etc. We can hold up to 2 trillion over the 500 billion mesos, which you probably don't have 500 billion mesos. We'll get a Hexostat Core 3 unlocked, and the Grandis map is going to get homogenized, so it's going to change, and it's just going to look different. So, yeah, I mean, that's the gist of all the major stuff coming in this update, but this update truly changes the game in a very impactful way that's going to affect not just new players coming into it, but existing players that are already invested in the systems and are already partaking in the content, such as boss meals and having link skills, you know, across all your characters, things like that. It's going to be a really big update. This is not something that I'm going to say, oh, play this update so you don't miss out, because this stuff is permanent and it's not going away. This is stuff that is altering and changing the game for for the better for the future long term. All right, y'all, and that's it for me today. If there's anything that you're really looking forward, please let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm personally really excited, and I can't wait for the summer update. Hyperburns are going to be sick as hell, and I'm looking forward to doing hopefully a progression series during that time as well. So enjoy the rest of your guys' day and take care. Peace out.